Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone around the world. Thank you for joining the webinar today. My name is Ashwint, and I am a marketing analyst with Zoho Analytics. I'm joining you from Chennai, the city with the longest natural beach in India. With that quick introduction, I will be taking you through the top 7 BI trends to watch in 2020. I hope you all can see my screen and hear me well. If you have any trouble, please let me know through the questions box available within the control panel. Before we get started with the session, a couple of housekeeping items. For the benefit of the group, I have muted all the participants. However, if you have any questions, please let me know through the question box within the control panel anytime during this webinar. So what's the agenda for the session? We get started with the BI molecule that sets the context for the top 7 BI trends in 2020. We move on to summarize the 7 trends, and then we throw the floor open for a Q&A. The BI molecule is a comprehensive framework that we came up with that talks about the current state of the business intelligence landscape. It is made of 4 atoms, and each of these atoms talk about a major shift or change that's happening in the BI landscape today. The first atom talks about diversity in analytics. Businesses were quick to realize the demerits of analyzing data in silos, and therefore they began to pool in data from different sources into one single platform. However, this became an IT-intensive activity. Today, BI platforms and organizations are further simplifying the diversity in analytics. This means for a business user, it's now easy to acquire data from a variety of sources all by themselves. And with that, we move on to the second atom, democratization of analytics and insights. Now, with all that data inside your platform, business users had to have a basic understanding of the data models and the data relationships. This, in turn, led to the restriction of analytics and insights to a set of business users. Therefore, BI applications and organizations are stepping up today in making analytics and insights available to a larger group of audience, thereby leading to the democratization of analytics and insights. All right, the third atom talks about compatibility. So today, data from different sources is getting simplified. AI and other technologies are enabling democratization of analytics and insights. So what about consumption of analytics in all forms and factors across platforms? Well, BI today cannot be restricted to one single platform, and that is where cross-platform compatibility is emerging as one of the major factors in shortlisting BI vendors. And finally, that one thing that connects all the atoms together and empowers the molecule is intelligence. Artificial intelligence is that one single thread that cuts across all the facets of a BI workflow, or be it the BI landscape. All right, so with the simplification of acquiring data, we're talking about diversity in analytics, with democratization of analytics and insights, and with cross-platform compatibilities and the entire molecule augmented by intelligence, the new enhanced BI molecule is now complete. And this sets the context for us for the top 7 BI trends to watch out in 2020. And this is a Zoho Analytics perspective. Trend number 1, augmented analytics. In the beginning, BI emerged as a code-intensive activity which required huge dependency on the IT teams. Organizations and platforms quickly adopted the self-service model, which empowered the business users to perform analytics all by themselves. However, today we are talking about artificial intelligence augmenting analytics. Well, AI is nothing but an adoption of big data technology and machine learning, and augmented analytics is all about deploying this technology in the BI space. So now let's see how AI is contributing in transforming organizations with the help of next generation analytics. A typical BI workflow starts with data ingestion, where data is acquired from different sources into one single platform. This data is then further prepared, which means the data gets further refined for precise analytics. The prepared data is then moved to the visualization and analysis layer, where this data gets visually analyzed. And it's up to the business users to derive insights and trigger actions based on these insights. Now, collectively, all this put together enables the business user to make better decisions. All right, now let's see how AI is becoming a game changer and is contributing effectively at each and every stage of this entire BI workflow. Now, let's take the case of data management. Artificial intelligence today is able to have a deeper understanding of the data and thereby is able to suggest and construct data relationships and data models for the business user. Not just that, it's also empowering the business user in cleaning and transforming the data for precise analytics. On top of the existing data, AI is able to add value, thereby enriching the data to take it to the next level of analytics. In the visualization and analysis layer, artificial intelligence is breaking down the data knowledge barrier. Today, business users are empowered through conversational AI, where the business users can directly interact with the system in natural language to perform precise analytics. This is further bridging the gap between the data and the business users. In the insights and actions arena, artificial intelligence is able to present the business user with a set of guided insights. Now, based on these insights, business users automatically or all by themselves are able to trigger actions. And eventually, as you can see, the entire spectrum of artificial intelligence in a BI workflow empowers the business user in making better decisions. As you can see on the screen, AI is gaining popularity in the BI workflow. Today, BI platforms are heavily investing on artificial intelligence to offer intelligence as an integral part of their offering. We at Zoho Analytics strongly feel that AI is the game changer in the BI arena, and I think we should keep a close watch on the developments happening around artificial intelligence in the year 2020. All right, that takes us to the next trend. And before we get to the next trend, I have a quick question for you folks. So, did you know that 80% of the analysis time is spent on? Any guesses from your side? 80% of the time is spent on data preparation. All right, so let me explain this for you. Today, you have multiple data sources generating phenomenal amount of data. You invest on a cutting edge BI platform that can visually analyze the data for you to give you some beefy insights. However, what happens if the data of poor quality is pumped into this system? Let's say the data is incorrect, incomplete, or repetitive for that matter. Business users are likely to end up performing analytics on this data, which is going to throw insights that cannot be trusted across organizations. And it not only ends there, but also the actions that are triggered based on these insights could be disastrous. Do you see the reason why people spend 80% of the time in preparing this data? So, in this context, organizations today are gearing up to understand the importance of an intermediate step, and that's data preparation. All right, if I were to talk about the evolution of data preparation, it started as an IT dependent activity and then it moved into a self service model. And today we are talking about artificial intelligence augmenting data preparation. AI is creating phenomenal capabilities in the data preparation arena and is creating numerous opportunities in this space. So, for the sake of this webinar, I'm going to talk about 4 capabilities that AI is creating in data preparation. Capability 1, data type identification and also identification of smart scalers. What you see on the screen is a simple example of the intelligence identifying the data types. So the minute the data gets pumped into the system, AI is able to read and understand the data and is able to identify these data types and present it to the business user. It not only understands simple data types, but also it identifies smart scalars such as PII, that's personally identifiable information, geo, temperature, and even IP addresses for that matter. AI is taking the identification to the next level by enabling contextual transformation of data types from one type to the other. This is empowering business users by cutting down a lot of time that gets spent on identifying these data types manually. With that, I move on to the capability 2 that talks about relationship identification and data modeling. What you see on the screen is a simple example of a suggested data relationship that exists between two datasets, here dataset A and dataset B. AI has a deep understanding of the data and is able to construct or suggest data relationships, and it doesn't end there, but is also able to present a set of possibilities in modeling this data. What you see on the screen is one such example of the different possibilities that's available to the business user to model this data. The next major capability that AI is building in the data preparation arena is cleaning and transforming the data. I'm going to highlight a few smart suggestions right there on the screen. And as you can see, as the data gets into the system, AI is able to perform a real-time understanding of the data and is able to suggest the business users with a set of smart and intelligent suggestions. Now let's take, for example, removing empty columns from column 1 and column 2, converting all data columns to a preferred format. And it's also able to identify duplicates. So once the business user is able to validate these suggestions, they're able to just perform the cleaning and transformation operations at a click of a button, which means within a very short period of time. And with that, I move on to the last capability that AI is creating today in the data preparation arena, and that's enrichment suggestions. Let's take the example of sentiment analysis, where artificial intelligence is able to understand the comments and feedbacks given and is able to put a tag against each of these comments. This is a value addition to the existing data, meaning these tags, such as positive, neutral, or negative that you see on the screen, have been added to the existing data to enrich this data to take it to the next level of analysis. All right, so given the adverse effect of poor data quality, data preparation is gaining popularity in the BI landscape. A well-prepared data empowers business users with precise analytics and thereby with better decisions. Today, we also see BI platforms heavily investing in data preparation tools, and this is one of the major trends that's happening in 2020. So if you're planning to invest in a BI platform, then I think you should probably look at the data preparation capabilities of a BI platform. All right. So we have a discussion happening between two colleagues where the first colleague says, a new dashboard has all of the different KPIs we can track now. And the second colleague asks, what's that KPI trending to zero? For which the first one answers, it measures how well we understand them all. Can we relate to that? Okay, so that takes us to the next trend, trend number 3, unified business analytics. Okay, folks, what do you see on the screen? Any guesses? Can someone be creative in explaining that in 2 words? All right, let me explain that for you. This is a complex yet very common information ecosystem that exists in most of the organizations today. There is limited control on the data source, limited knowledge of the quality of data that gets pumped into the system, and this data gets analyzed in silos. The analyzed data gets delivered to different business users or stakeholders at different points. Typically, in a situation like this, what happens is that insights become very subjective, and so do the actions based on these insights. There is absolutely little or no alignment between the business users and the organization's end objective. As you know that most of the organizations today are adopting multiple business applications, end-to-end insights are becoming critical for making decisions. This scenario is getting addressed by unified business analytics, which creates a common ground for all the stakeholders by blending data from different sources seamlessly into one single platform to perform analytics. What you see on the screen is a simple representation of unified business analytics. There's much better control of the data and certainly of the data sources too. Everyone gets to see the same set of insights and everyone is aligned towards the business or the organization's objective. So a good BI platform should be able to intelligently blend data from different sources. Now let me give you a very quick example of this. Let's say a marketing manager is running ad campaigns across platforms like Facebook, Google AdWords, or Twitter for that matter. Now, the leads that get generated out of these campaigns get captured within a CRM system, and the lead to conversion history is also tracked within a CRM system. Once the customer makes a payment, the payment details get captured within an accounting software. Now, to measure the ROI of this entire campaign, it doesn't make sense to analyze the data only from your ad campaign platforms or only from your CRM platform or from your accounting platform. It makes more sense to have data blended from all the different platforms into one single application, such as Zoho Analytics, to perform your analytics. Well, and what you see on the screen is one such dashboard which has data blended from Google AdWords and also from your CRM platform and from your accounting software. So, businesses have understood the demerits of analyzing data in silos, which is costing phenomenal amounts of resources for the organizations. The need to understand the impact of variables on business is becoming the driving force behind unified business analytics. And if you're someone looking to invest in a BI platform, we suggest you to watch out for cross-functional analytical capabilities of these platforms because unified business analytics is gaining steam in 2020. All right, so with that, we move to our next trend, that's conversational analytics. All right, so we conveniently stepped out from the IT dependent era to a self service model. Today, business users are being empowered with drag and drop features to perform analytics. However, in order to do that, business users will need to have an understanding of the data models, and the data relationships. Thereby, this is now leading to the emergence of digital assistants which are now evolving into intelligent assistants. They are able to transcribe language and transform them into organized information. Now, what am I talking about? Now, let's take an example. What you see on the screen is a search driven analytics interface. The business user is able to interact with the BI application in natural language through questions, and the BI platform deciphers the question and under the hood is able to analyze the data and present to the business user a beautiful geo map like what you see on the screen. So the question there is, what is the year on year sales by region? And the platform is able to deliver a precise chart with all the relevant data. All right, let me now showcase an example of Zia, the intelligent assistant built into Zoho Analytics. What you see on the screen is a quick demo where the business user interacts with the system, or Zia in this case, in natural language. And the question is deals this month. Zia is able to understand this question and is able to give a relevant report. The business user goes on to ask, deals count by stage this month, and Zia has given a pie chart with a breakup of the values. And so these conversations are also voice enabled, where the business users can simply talk to the systems and the intelligence is able to understand the question and present relevant reports to the business user. Not just that, business users can also ask questions in different languages, and what you see on the screen is one such question in Spanish. All right, one of the interesting use cases here. So, as the name suggests, conversational AI is not simply transactional in nature, but it's highly conversational. So, these chatbots are getting to a level of immersive business intelligence where business users are able to perform ad hoc analysis on the go to get some quick insights. What you see on the screen is one such conversation between a business user and the chatbot, where the user asks, what is the sales in October 2019? And the intelligence is able to throw a figure to the business user. And then the business user goes on to ask, by salesperson, and the intelligence is able to understand the context of this question and is able to relate to the previous question to give a bar chart. So, with all these examples, we can conveniently say that conversational analytics is bridging the gap between data and business users. Complex data sets are being analyzed with ease by business users, which is enabling them to make precise and timed decisions. So, we see a phenomenal adoption of BI because of conversational AI, and conversational analytics is certainly a trend to watch out for in the year 2020. All right, so with that, we move on to trend 5, where we talk about insights. So you have BI platforms and organizations further simplifying the process of acquiring data from different sources. You have sophisticated technology enabled by artificial intelligence to perform analysis on this data. And what next? Is it up to the business users to derive or infer insights from the data that has just got analyzed? Absolutely not. Artificial intelligence today is changing the way business users decipher insights from analyzed data. AI is empowering business users with a set of guided insights and is also able to trigger actions based on these insights. One such example, which I will be talking about in the next slide, gives you a clear picture of what I'm trying to communicate. Now, here, in this case, let's take a few examples of, say, anomaly identification, trend identification, or clustering, or say alerting for that matter. There was a time where these activities required a lot of effort from the ID teams, which involved writing codes and building data models. However, thanks to artificial intelligence and machine learning, Today, AI and ML is making these activities as a de facto capability within a BI platform. So, like I was saying, what you see on the screen is an example of guided insights. What you see here on the right hand side lower box are a set of insights that artificial intelligence has presented to the business users. Insight 1 says small deal sizes have higher win rates, and it goes on to explain that existing customers who have signed small deals are 40% more likely to convert. Now, to come up with an insight like that, artificial intelligence needs a better understanding of the data, and today, AI and ML is able to do that. AI is able to have a deeper understanding of the data, the business processes, and the changes that are happening in the business to arrive at these insights like the ones that you see on the screen. All right, so what next with these guided insights? AI is also enabling to trigger actions based on these insights right from your BI application. Let's look at a couple of examples. What you see on the box are a set of guided insights where the business user gets to know that South Carolina and Kentucky have the most stock in hand and the demand is less, which means the stocks are high whereas the demand is low. Artificial intelligence is able to understand this scenario and present to the business user a set of actions that could possibly be triggered. And it says run offers for these customers, which means the business user is able to trigger actions right from the platform without having to move out of the platform. That is the level of intelligence that is being offered today. So, artificial intelligence is systematically melting down the experience barriers among business users and are empowering them with guided insights. With workflows built into the BI applications, users are now able to perform precise analytics all by themselves. And because of all this, we are witnessing a rapid adoption of business intelligence among business users. So, we see AI's role in presenting to the business users a set of insights playing a major role in the year 2020. So, with that, we move on to the next trend, embedded business intelligence. If I were to say that all business processes today involve decisions being made at different stages, I'm sure you all would agree to that. Most of us here, including myself, would have witnessed the aftermath of a wrong decision being made at a stage which could possibly collapse the entire project. Now, business users and organizations have understood the importance of delivering precise analytics at each and every stage of decision making, and that is leading to the popularity in embedded business intelligence. So, what's happening here in this space? Software vendors and solution vendors started offering core analytical capabilities into an application's workflow, which means the analytics is getting embedded into a software. And that gives rise to embedded BI. Now, this all begun to deliver reports and dashboards and to perform ad hoc analysis as a part of the workflow. However, today markets are shifting towards precise analytics where we're talking about KPIs, microcharts, stats, and alerts delivered to the business users. Then it was also one of the core reasons for embedded BI was to avoid toggling between applications. However, today we are talking about contextual analytics, that is, presenting analytics in context for enabling business users to make better decisions. And not just that, today business users are also demanding functions that can be built based on their business needs with low dependency on the IT teams. They would want to have it UI and configuration driven. And on the other side of the spectrum, developers are also working on ways to reduce the turnaround time to meet the business needs. They are also looking for pre-built components and reusable metrics as a way out to handle these changes easily and efficiently, and this is leading to the low code and no code revolution. So why would I say no if precise analytics is being delivered to me at every stage of my decision making? And that is what is gaining popularity today. And if you're looking to invest in a BI platform, probably you should look at those platforms which have the capability to be embedded into your software or your business application or your business workflow. All right, so with that, we move to the last trend, that's ubiquitous deployment. So it's a very straightforward topic which talks about analytics everywhere. So now let's look at how this evolution began. The software industry on the whole, and today with special focus on BI, started with technology limitations, and therefore BI platforms got restricted to on-premise model. However, even today, many companies still prefer the on-premise model, largely for data security reasons and for compliance. Industries like pharma and defense, where data is highly critical, still do prefer running on the on-premise model. Then came SaaS, and thanks to cloud technology, which enabled a low maintenance or a no maintenance platform and also offered powerful BI. Not to mention, Zoho Analytics was slightly ahead of the curve in this entire revolution. We started off as the pioneers in BI as SaaS. So, what happened then? Customers started to migrate from an on-premise model to a cloud model. And so what's happening today? Hybrid models are gaining popularity. Hybrid models are a combination of the on-premise and cloud models. All right, so organizations which are data sensitive still would like to have the data on an on-premise, largely because of data security. Not just that, organizations also do not want to entirely depend on one cloud vendor, and therefore to reduce the dependency on one vendor, they prefer going for a hybrid model. Having said that, an on-premise model may not be able to offer powerful analytics and user experience like how the cloud offers today. And therefore, there is definitely a need for the cloud to play a major role in the hybrid model to empower business users with precise and powerful analytics, and also to have a higher level of user experience. And what is happening today? Customers are also shifting from a cloud model to a hybrid model. Hybrid models are also gaining popularity largely because of the increase of popularity in private clouds. So, what does this mean to us? BI is not restricted to one single platform. Any BI application should be scalable across any of these platforms that you see on the screen, and should also empower the business user to move seamlessly from an on-premise model to a cloud model, or from a cloud model to a hybrid model, and so on and so forth. So if you're looking for a BI platform in the year 2020, probably you should look at the ability to operate from multiple platforms. All right, so with that, we move on to summarize our 7 trends for 2020. We started off with the augmented analytics, where we saw how AI is empowering the next generation of analytics in a typical BI workflow. And then we moved on to discuss about data preparation, once again playing a very critical role in the BI arena. We spoke of data quality and how organizations are empowering themselves to present good data to its business users. Then we spoke of unified business analytics. We saw a scenario where data gets pumped in from different sources with limited knowledge of that data being transformed into platform which is empowered by unified business analytics, which has control on all the data sources and the data that gets pumped into the system. Then we moved on to talk about conversational analytics, where business users are empowered to interact with the system to perform precise analytics. Then came insights, where we spoke about guided and actionable insights, where artificial intelligence presents guided insights to business users and also triggers actions based on these insights. Then came Embedded BI, where we spoke of how BI is becoming an essential part of the business workflows and by empowering business users with precise analytics at different stages of decision making. And then finally, we saw ubiquitous deployment of BI platforms across the on prem or the cloud or the hybrid models. So that completes all the 7 trends to watch out in 2020. So, if you have a closer look at these trends, at the heart of these trends lies artificial intelligence. And finally, all these trends work together in fulfilling the business users' needs. So, as companies and business users, it is important to watch out for these trends in this year. BI platforms around the world are beefing up their capabilities, and Zoho Analytics is one of the early adopters of most of the technologies that we discussed today. So, keeping that in mind, let's move ahead in the year 2020 with these top 7 BI trends. All right, so now the floor is open for question and answers. Feel free to post your questions inside the questions box available within the control panel. So we got one question here. What features are now available in Zoho? All right, so we have most of the features that we discussed today in the webinar. However, some part of it, like the guided insights and actionable insights, are a work in progress.
Okay, so here's the next question. So do you offer developer services to set up each dashboard? Yeah, two different answers here. So if you are in a trial period, we offer a program called 3-Day Assist Program, where we assist you to set things up, bringing your data in, and to also to create the reports that you need. If you are a paid customer, so you can also look at our extensive partner network around the world to get your reports and dashboards ready for you.
All right, one more question says, will more training be made available to partners on these features? Yes, we are planning for a series of trainings to be conducted, and we will keep you posted on these trainings. We have one more question where the participant would like to know how many languages does Zia support today? All right, so today Zia is built with capabilities to understand and answer to questions posed in English. We are also developing the capabilities in Spanish, and we have listed out a few other set of languages which we are working on, and you can expect some interesting updates on that too. All right, next question. Where's your partners list for setup? This is available in zoho.com/partners. All right, we have one question. The participant would like to know whether Zoho Analytics supports private cloud. Yes, we do support private clouds. You can always have your platform integrated with clouds such as Amazon AWS, Google Cloud, or even Microsoft Azure. We have another question. It says, does Analytics offer a hybrid option? Yes, Zoho Analytics today is available as an on-premise and is also available on the cloud. And it's also available on private cloud, like Amazon AWS and also Google Cloud and also Azure. All right, we have another question. Says, can Zia pull and analyze data from app? I now request one of my colleagues to answer this question.
Yeah, hi all. So Zoho Analytics currently gets integrated deeply with all the Zoho apps, which includes CRM, Zoho Finance, Zoho Help Desk, HR management applications. So we have offer integrations to over 13 different business applications from Zoho Suite. So for all these applications, so we have the Ask Zia trained automatically when you try to do the integration. So it means that you can start using Ask Zia to ask questions in your CRM data that is coming from Zoho CRM or from your Zoho Desk information or from your Zoho Books information. That's how we have done the integration. So any integration we do within the Zoho app system as well as for external third-party business applications, we not only do the data integration part and the modeling part, we also provide pre-built reports and dashboards as well as train Zia to understand the domain, so that you can use Ask Zia to ask questions and get insights out of this app. So the next question is there data security and permissions are there in this tool? Yes, of course. Zoho Analytics is basically GDPR compliant. So you can mark columns that are uploaded into Zoho Analytics as PA information that is privately. So you can mark a column as personal identifiable information, so that that column's data does not get exposed to your end users. That apart, we are also GDPR compliant. We ensure that data, whatever data that is stored, is encrypted at rest. So we follow a kind of a elaborate guideline to ensure that we follow the GDPR guideline, as well as we are also ISO 27700 compliant, so which is also another security certification that we follow. So these are some of the things that we do to ensure that the data that is uploaded into Zoho Analytics is really secure and private. So this is the next question. I've used RZA to construct charts and all, but how do I set up to deliver insights like the slide under insights with the map? So this is something that is under works with respect to Zoho Analytics. As you had already gone through the slide deck, you would have understood that machines now have the intelligence to really understand the data model, the data that is stored inside them. And it can also keep track of the types of charts and dashboards that you're looking at, or the types of charts and dashboards that you're creating in the system. So given all this information, it can start analyzing what is your preferences, what is the data that you're storing, and how the data is really structured. So with that, AI models can come up with automatic inferences on the data that you have uploaded in Zoho Analytics. That's the kind of a logic that we are trying to implement. And that's how the systems are evolving. So these are things that are in still works, but not yet available in the product. But very soon, I think with all the moving pieces that we talked about here, so this kind of smart inferences should be possible for any domain for any data that is uploaded into Zoho Analytics. So that's the future. And you can watch out for this kind of updates with respect to inferences coming up in Zoho Analytics very soon in 2020. So this is the next question. So Zoho Analytics can handle a huge set of data. So we are a platform that has been designed for handling big data set, big data as such. So we have customers who have more than in the range of 100 millions to billion records in the system, analyzing daily and creating reports and dashboards out of it. So it is basically a large big data system with a very appropriately designed data warehousing engine to handle huge data sets for analytics. So we have customers deployed for such kind of big data analytics. And this particular product line has been in the business for more than 10 years and been evolving continuously. So it's a very good platform for you to adopt on. And if you have a large data set, definitely this is a platform that you can bet on. And in terms of latency, we don't see much, as I told you. So we have been serving customers in a wide variety of data set load. Typical latency in terms of generating reports and dashboards will be around 2 to 5 seconds. Okay, if you look at this volume of data. But of course, there are some optimization that we might have to do as the amount of data scales up. We will always be in a position to happily help customers to do this kind of tweaking and ensure that performance optimizations are done to scale to the limits that customer wants. So this is on user level security with respect to Zoho Analytics. So we have an elaborate authorization model with respect to Zoho Analytics. We provide fine-grained permission as well as user roles, which can be configured or administered in terms of permissions. So you can define a user to be an administrator, an org level administrator, or a workspace level administrator, or you can have them as just plain users where permissions are controlled, whether you want to give them read permissions, write permissions, report creation permissions, or would they want to be just what I would say having capability to just export data or view the reports. So this kind of fine-grained permissions can be given to users and control how the reports and dashboard as well as data is being accessed by your users. So that kind of elaborate authorization model is offered by Zoho Analytics. Okay, this is another interesting question. So if without AI, the technology will work. Okay, AI is something that is becoming very real time in terms of how it's been adopted in terms of the technology space. And BA is one important area where AI is finding different applications. So we can always say that without AI, what can be possible? But I think with the advent of AI and big data technologies, okay, that is going to be the new wave of how BA is going to evolve. If you remove the AI quotient, still things are going to be possible where it might be more manually driven, because the tools are getting mature enough where users will be in a position to manually generate reports, manually do data management part, manually create reports and dashboards, manually look at the dashboards and come up with inference. This is going to be possible, but machine learning capability which is powered by AI is going to make it much more faster, much more easier, where instead of doing all these things manually or by human effort, the machines can start guiding them in all these logical steps, and thereby making it faster and much more powerful. That's what it's going to really make it happen. So that's why we call this augmented BI. It is really enhancing BI to the next level. So AI is going to play a very critical role in 2020 and moving forward. But without AI, definitely it's going to be possible, but it's going to be much more human intensive. That's how I put it. No, we do not offer integration with Plenty. This is something in our to-do list, not for the immediate future. Is it possible to generate tag-wise reports? Okay, I guess you're talking about word cloud, right? If that's right. So currently we do not support a word cloud feature in Zoho Analytics, but that's something that we are working on already. So, okay, so data extract scheduling. So you can connect to a wide variety of data sources. So we offer models where you can synchronize data at a fine-grained level of up to 5 to 15 minutes schedule. That apart, if you want to have real-time synchronization, that is also possible through the REST API that we offer. So you can push data as and when it is occurring in your application through our APIs. The third models, we also give you live connect model for databases as well as data warehousing, especially the cloud databases and cloud data warehouses like Amazon Redshift, Google Cloud SQL, Azure SQL. So and other databases which are hosted in the cloud, we offer live connect where the data need not have to be synchronized from your source database into Zoho Analytics. We do a live query there and give you the reports and visualization. So that's also possible. So we offer a wide variety of models. So depending on the business application or depending on the data source that you're trying to connect with. Yes. So yes, of course. So we can definitely assist you in terms of using the product in terms of by offering a detailed training. Can you please write to us at support@zohoanalytics.com so that we can connect with you and help you in terms of the training process. We'd be more than happy to do that.
Okay, everybody. Thank you very much for the active participation, and thank you very much for joining the webinar. We believe that it was highly informative and insightful for you. So next time when you think of investing in a BI platform, I'm sure you're going to look back at this webinar to check out the 7 most important BI trends in the year 2020. And what you see on the screen are the support email address, where it's support@zohoanalytics.com. You can anytime write to us on this email. And also you can always check out our website, www.zoho.com/analytics. Thank you everyone for joining. Have a wonderful day ahead.